Hello and welcome back to my stamp studio. I hope all of you enjoyed a nice, safe Thanksgiving last week. I've helped many of you get a head start on your holiday card making with my recent Class to Go card kits, but I think that many of you will agree that this next Class to Go kit is definitely timeless. So today I'm excited to share my special Class to Go card kit using the Snowflake Splendor Suite on pages 36 through 38 of the Stampin' Up! Holiday Mini Catalog. This will be, I'm sad to say, my last Class to Go kit making holiday cards. However, while this bundle creates gorgeous snowflake holiday cards, I think it also lends itself to stunning holiday thank you cards. Some of you may remember that my January card classes were always dedicated to thank you cards, as we can never seem to get enough of them after the holidays. So with that thought in mind, I waited to showcase the Snowflake Splendor Suite in my last Class to Go kit, as it is perfect to create fabulous wintry holiday cards, but also wintry thank you cards. So let's just start by talking about the bundle. So the Snowflake Wishes bundle consists of the stamp set. You can see here that it has some beautiful snowflake images, different sizes. There are some that are a little more dainty looking, a little more fussy than others, but there are some that are just a little more plain. They almost have kind of a watercolor wash image to them when you stamp them. There's a little cluster here of medium-sized, teeny tiny little cluster of small ones, and then a single little cute one there. The sentiments with this set are Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. Our friendship is one of a kind. In the coldest moments of the year, my heart is warm because you're near. Thank you so much. Happy Hanukkah, and may your season sparkle. Okay? It's a photopolymer stamp set of 17, so it's a lot of stamps for your money here, and lots of different possibilities with these gorgeous snowflake images. So it coordinates with the snowflake dies, and most of these coordinate with a stamp. However, there are two that do not. This larger one that gives us a beautiful cutout, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. And then this one here, I'll pull it out, it's a little hard to see, that gives you an opening in your card with some little snowflakes around the edge. Just beautiful. And again, I'll show you that one in a little bit as well, okay? So some beautiful snowflake dies that are gorgeous in and of themselves, but also coordinate beautifully with the Snowflake Wishes photopolymer stamp set, okay? Now, when I receive a bundle of products in the mail from Stampin' Up, I will sit down with that bundle, and my goal is to try and create at least 6 cards with it. I'm going to tell you that when I sat down with this bundle, I easily created 12 cards. And I go through those cards I create and try to pick and choose which ones I think would work good for the Class to Go kit. And this time I had a hard time just picking 2 out of those 12 cards. So I said to myself, why do you have to do it that way? So I'm changing things up a little bit in this Class to Go card kit. Instead of offering 2 designs, 2 cards of each, I'm going to be offering 4 designs, 1 card of each. So you will still be getting 4 free cards in this kit, but they will all be different designs, unlike my past kits. Okay? Now, I'm going to show the kit cards because I just love these. All right, so the first one I have to show here has a base of Pacific Point. And it's got that larger snowflake die that I talked about as a cutout as the base of into the base of this card. And if you can see kind of from the inside what happens, it ends up being kind of a sneak or a peek into the inside of the card then. I've layered some of the other snowflake dies. I've also taken one and cut it out in the balmy blue glimmer paper here which is lovely behind there, I think. And then put that cute saying, Snowflake wishes for a Merry Christmas, over the top there with some silver metallic strip across there, okay? Pacific Point, a beautiful blue color that coordinates with this suite that I don't use a lot of, I'll admit, and I think it's gorgeous for this snowflake card, okay? I took some of the individual snowflake stamps from the set, and I'll just show you those right now. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and put them all on a, what block is this? D, I want to say, yep, all on a D block here. And then I just ink all of them up to be able to stamp them along the bottom edge or the flap of your envelope, okay? So kind of a little quick tip there for you of how differently you can use your stamps, okay? The second card for this kit is really outside the box, I think, for holidays. However, I'm loving it. I used Gorgeous Grape for the base. Now, Stampin' Up coordinates Highland Heather. You know that it's a little bit lighter purple with this suite. But I found that it was just a little too light for me for a card base, so I went to its coordinating sister color, Gorgeous Grape, and went ahead and made that my card base. I have a little bit of Designer Series paper then, kind of slanted, overlaid over with some Whisper White run through the Winter Snow embossing folder. I don't think the camera's picking this up, but I did take some of our Champagne Shimmer spray paint and sprayed over that. It's offering a beautiful little shine to that here in person. And then I also used some pink, I think this is the pale pink here with some of the snowflake cutouts. Another piece of the Designer Series paper back here with a circle. I also threw on some silver around that. I just think that's gorgeous with that. Aha, Gorgeous Grape. Anyway, and then there's another little piece of Designer Series paper back here. And then just to finish this off, and not colors that I would typically put together with Gorgeous Grape, but a little bit of Pool Party here. Some of the sheer ribbon, which I thought looked beautiful, just kind of snuck underneath there, okay? I added some of the clear epoxy embellishments there on the center of those snowflakes, okay? So that's the second card for this card kit. The third card, I went ahead on the envelope and stamped the Balmy Blue snowflakes in the same way that I did the other ones there. And this card, the base is Mint Macaron, and when you first look at this card, you might think it's just like an ordinary card. It has a little window cut out with the square stitched dies, and when you open it, it just opens and closes like an ordinary card. But I have layered some Designer Series paper in here so that it actually is a little bit of a pull-out card, okay? So it's a little bit of a Z-fold, and it pulls out. Obviously, the square fits perfectly because it's been cut out. And then I went ahead and I did the Balmy Blue snowflake again for the center here with one of our little clear epoxy embellishments again, okay? So a beautiful display card, I think, for the holidays, or a very sweet winter thank you card, okay? I didn't put a sentiment on this one because I think it could very easily be used as a thank you card, all right? So that's that one there. And then the last kit I have for this class to go is that stamped in Night of Navy, and I have classic Night of Navy Whisper White with a little bit of silver metallic thrown in on this one, okay? The base of my card is actually some of the Snowflake Splendor DSP, so you can see that the back side is actually Designer Series paper, and I have scored it to fold out like it's basically a Z fold again here. And so that the front layer overlaps the center layer, okay? Just kind of a fun, different fold, and again, a fun display card for the holidays or a nice, simple, wintry thank you card, okay? So these are the 4 cards I have chosen out of those 12 that I made to be included in this Class to Go kit, okay? Now, I also am going to change up this kit a little bit, and then I'm going to offer 2 different purchase options for it, okay? Option 1 would be the purchase of the Snowflake Wishes stamp set and die bundle for $55.75. And then you would receive supplies to create one of each of my 4 class cards, okay, and envelopes, of course, okay. My second option is a little different, okay. So let me get these out of the way and let me share that with you a little bit. My second option would include the Snowflake Wishes stamp set and dies again. It would also include the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper. Remember that a pack of paper comes with 12 sheets, 2 designs on each sheet, front and back, and so you would have a total of 24 different designs of these beautiful prints to play with. And again, Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Pacific Point, Misty, Moonlight, and Night of Navy. And thrown in just a little bit of this Highland Heather purple into these, and it's just stunning paper. Then you would also receive a pack of the Balmy Blue Glimmer paper, and that comes with 2 sheets, 12 by 12. Also in option 2, you would receive the Winter Snow embossing folder. This is a gorgeous snow-filled embossing folder. And then I'm going to throw in just for free, with the purchase of option 2, a half pack of the Frosted Clear Epoxy Droplet embellishments. And that ends up being 48 embellishments. You'll get 24 of the clear and 24 of the frosty, okay? So in addition to all of this, you will also receive supplies to create 2 of each of my class cards for a total of 8 cards in this Class to Go card kit, okay? I'm going to say that again because I think it's a fabulous offer. So the 4 cards I just showed you, you would receive supplies to create 2 of each of those with the purchase of the products that I just went through here. And the option 2 is an $80 purchase price. So this option is obviously the better value. It will allow you to create more cards, more snowflake and wintry cards to come, okay? All the details are included with my post here. If you have any questions about either option, or if you already have any products in option 2 and would like to substitute something, let me know. I'm always open to that as well, okay? Now, because everyone has different stamp stashes, you may not have some of the products I'm using in these kit cards. So I offer many additional products in what I call an add-on list. You can receive a 10% discount on these add-on items with the purchase of my Class to Go card kit. I will do my best to mention these add-on items in my video today, but they are also listed with this post. It's important to point out here, though, that the 10% discount for these add-on items is only available when you send me your order and I place it for you. It's the only way I can give you the discount. I do need to charge a $4 postage fee, which covers my mailing of the card kit supplies to you. Your Stampin' Up! Products will be shipped directly to you from Stampin' Up! Once you have all your stamping supplies, you're ready to simply sit and stamp with this video as your guide. The kit does all the creativity for you, and you get to stamp in the comfort and, more importantly, safety of your home. So, contact me via email or message me on Facebook when you're ready to place your order. You will find all these details in this post along with the ordering dates. But please let me know if you have any questions, okay? So let's get to stamping, all right? So I think I'm going to start out with one of the fancy folds first. And I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this one here, okay? Remember, this is the one that the base was designer series paper and it had a little bit of a Z fold to it, okay? All right, your kit will arrive with supplies to make one of these cards that looks like this, okay? You're going to have a piece of designer series paper that measures 8.5 by 5.5. It will be pre-scored at 2 inches and 4 inches for you, okay? You're also going to receive in your kit 2 pieces of Night of Navy that measure 3 3/4 by 5, okay? I just want to make sure and tell the right measurements here. You will also receive 3 pieces of Whisper White, okay? The Whisper White pieces measure 3.5 by 4 3/4, okay? 2 of them will get lined up with the Night of Navy pieces, okay? The other one we're going to use here in just a little bit, okay? In your kit, you will also have a piece of silver metallic cardstock, a scrap piece of Whisper White, a scrap strip of vellum, and then a scrap strip of Night of Navy. You will also have a more narrow strip of Night of Navy, and this will be for your sentiment. And I've already gone ahead for the sake of time, and I have stamped the Snowflake Wishes sentiment white embossed on that strip, okay? So the Versamark ink pad, the refill, the white embossing powder, and the heat tool would all be 10% add-on items to this class, okay? All right, so I'm going to move some of those pieces aside, and we're going to work here with our designer series paper and our Whisper White and Night of Navy here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to apply a little bit here at each end. The Stampin' Seal is so strong that I'm finding you really don't need that much. So it's kind of nice because, you know, in the past, sometimes with the snail, we would have to put adhesive all over the back to feel like we needed to get it to hold. And this, I find, if I just do 2 strips like that, top and bottom, it's plenty to hold. So you don't need as much. All right, I'm just centering both of those Whisper White pieces on the Night of Navy pieces, okay? Now I'm going to grab my designer series paper, and remember I told you it will be scored at 2 inches and 4 inches, okay? So the first fold I want you to make is on the 4-inch score line. I want you to bring that in on itself, making sure you're lining up the top edge and the bottom edge here of your designer series paper, and then give yourself just a nice little fold there. Designer series paper is a little bit thinner, so you don't really need the bone folder to do it. You're welcome to use it, but you don't need it to really get nice crisp folds on the DSP. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this back on itself here. Okay, again, give it a nice crisp fold with your finger. Now I'm going to take one of my Night of Navy pieces and apply a little bit of Stampin' Seal, top and bottom. Sometimes your Stampin' Seal just needs a little bit of help to get started again. It all has to do with how it came off the last time you used it. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to center this top to bottom and side to side. Okay, I think we're in good shape there. I could come that way just a little bit. Remember, it's just to the eye. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? And that becomes our inside piece there, okay? Now my outside piece, I'm going to layer on top here, and I want to make sure that all the corners line up and that it is exactly flush with that lower piece along this edge, okay? Now, when I go to attach this, I need to be conscious that I do not want adhesive behind this right here, okay? I only want adhesive here. I only want it to hold to that DSP there, okay? So that I still can get my little fold out, all right? So when I go to put adhesive, I'm going to be very conscious that I do not want adhesive past here, okay? So I kind of mark that with my thumb there a little bit, kind of helps as a guide. Now, This I'm going to go ahead and take my multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to give myself a little squiggle down the side there. Bring it back over here, and with that flap closed, I'm going to go ahead and set it down so that my corners match up here and here, and that my side matches up. So I'm completely covering that bottom inside piece. Okay, give that a little bit of a rub. And then just so that that will dry just a little bit better and have something on top, I'm going to go ahead and put my Stampin' Seal on top of that and let that dry while I work with the rest of my other pieces here. Okay? All right. The next pieces I'm going to deal with are the other piece of Whisper White you have in the kit and the silver metallic cardstock. Okay? Those are going to get run through some dies. This nice window cutout die here, you're going to run through your die cut machine on the Whisper White piece. Okay? And then your silver metallic piece is going to get run through the Winter Snow embossing folder. Okay? And this just offers a beautiful snowflake image on that silver paper. It just looks stunning. Okay? So that's the first two things you're going to do. After you have this cut out, you're going to run it through the embossing folder again. Okay, not again, but you're going to run it through your die cut machine again through the snowflake. It's very important to point out you must cut first and then use your embossing folder second. Okay? And what you're going to end up with is these pieces here. Okay? They look just like this. You can see the silver has this beautiful snowflake image in it now. And the white one that I cut out, I have a nice little window here that I can gently pull out. And some of those little snowflake will stay on the inside images here, or the inside of your cutout. Okay, isn't that pretty? Love that. Okay, now I want to attach this with this. Okay, and I measured just so you could take mini dimensionals and place one in each corner of your silver metallic cardstock. Okay. Go ahead and take the stickers off of those. And then this piece is going to get laid right on top. Now, it's important to point out here that the silver piece only needs to be behind this cutout here. You're going to have some extra little accent design holes here. It really doesn't matter if those are have silver behind them or not, okay? The biggest thing you want to make sure is that the silver is in this larger part of the cutout, okay? All right, and there you have that. Now, over the back side of them, I'm going to take some regular dimensionals, and I'm going to attach those to the back of that silver piece. I'm not going to put them here. I want to put them here, okay? Because remember, the silver piece is popped out just a little bit more, and it'll help it lay on the base of our card much nicer that way. I'm going to pull my base card back in here. And the reason I have this piece here is so that this piece will line up perfectly over it, okay? And it also provides a white background to any of those little holes that I talked about, that it didn't matter if there was silver behind them or not, okay? It just helps your silver paper kind of stretch a little farther that way, okay? Not to use so much. All right, now that's really pretty just like that, but now we need to put some of these gorgeous snowflakes on here. So that's what your remaining 3 strips are here from your kit, okay? And you're going to take some of the snowflake dies, and actually I'm only using 2 of the dies there. And I thought the easiest way to show you was to already punch them out here. The blue, you're going to need 3 of the small ones. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. The white one, you're going to need this little bit larger snowflake die and 2 of the smaller ones. And then your piece of vellum, you're going to need 2 of the larger snowflake dies, okay? So I'm going to leave these lay right here. And if you want to freeze frame so that you can see, I wish those showed up just a little bit better. Maybe I'll stick them in here a little bit. So that you can see what you cut out of each piece, feel free to, okay? We'll leave that out just a little bit there. Okay, now we have all of our snowflakes cut out. Put my dies over here so I don't lose them. Let's bring our card base back in here and begin to attach these, okay? So obviously you can use whichever snowflakes you prefer. These are just the papers that I provided in the kit and how I counted for them to work, okay? Now glue dots are going to be your friend, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to expose some glue dots here, and I'm going to first pull in my Night of Navy blue ones. And sometimes I find the easiest way is to just go ahead and attach all 3 of them here, just like that. And then I placed one down here in this corner. I placed one over here. And then I placed another one up here. Okay, and I'm placing these on the white, this white outer edge, okay? I'm not placing them on the silver. The next ones I have are the white ones. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to attach all 3 white ones right here onto my glue round. And go ahead and grab them. The larger white one I placed over the Night of Navy, and as I did that, I did kind of stagger the little snowflake so that the blue one showed through just a little bit better. The other white one I just stuck up here by itself. The last white one I stuck down here by itself. Okay. Now your 2 vellum ones, I placed one on top of this navy. And again, if you rotate it so that you see the navy, I keep wanting to call them petals. They're not petals, but it's the little snowflakes. So they stagger. The navy blue will show just a little bit better than underneath that vellum. But I thought the vellum added really nice to that. Made it look very dainty and very pretty. And then the last thing to add here before our embellishments is the sentiment. And I just took 2 regular size dimensionals on either end of it. And that just basically gets straddled across the front of the card here. Centered. Now, the middle of these snowflakes really need something. With all that silver metallic behind there, I decided to use the frosty and the clear epoxy embellishments. I just think they're great for holidays. You get both that look, right? That little frosty look, and you also get that clear, stunning look. So you'll have a mix of sizes in your kit. I use these on, I think, all but 1 card, so you'll have plenty. I happen to this one be using 3 of the larger silver ones than on these larger snowflakes, but you'll have plenty in your kit that you can mix and match however you want. Okay? So there's our first card. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's really a beautiful showcase card to be able to stick up on a mantle or something to be able to show off, okay? You could also, if you wanted to, take that snowflake cluster that I had done earlier for the envelopes, and you could very easily stamp those on the inside too with some Night of Navy ink. Okay? All right, so that's the first card. The second card, supplies you receive, would look like this. And just to remind you, it's this card here that had the little bit of a pull-out here like that. Okay? So the base of the card is mint macaron. You also have a piece of designer series paper that measures, I want to make sure and tell you the right measurements here, 5 1/4 by 8. Okay? It is also scored at 2 and 4. Okay? You have a piece of just Whisper White, which is intended to be your inside piece. Okay? And I did go ahead and stamp some of the balmy blue snowflakes down in the corner there. You have another piece of designer series paper here, and this measures 4 by 5 1/4. Just a piece of scrap balmy blue. This measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then a little small square of the balmy blue glimmer paper, 2 by 2 square, and that's just a scrap as well. Okay, but it needs to be the right size for the snowflake we're going to punch out of it. All right. Okay, so let's first start again with our card base. I'm going to go ahead and give that a nice little score line there. You have your piece of designer series paper, and this time the score lines are going to be on the right hand side. The first time we did them, they were over here on the left. These are going to be over here on the right hand side. I'm still going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to fold this over on itself, but as you notice, it's exactly the same size on this one, okay, as you fold it over on itself. Then you're going to have your 2-inch score line here that you're going to fold it back on itself. And then I'm going to flip the whole thing over, and I'm going to go ahead and apply some Stampin' Seal along both edges, okay? And then this is going to actually get placed on the inside of your card, okay? It should be centered top to bottom and side to side, but you'll see that you'll have your flap coming out from your card, okay? Just like that. Now, this little Whisper White piece here I added, this will be your inside piece. And again, I just stamped some little snowflakes down in the corner if you want. I did not put a sentiment in this one. I think this one would be a lovely thank you card. So, whoops. So you could pull a, very easily pull a thank you out of your stamp stash. And okay, there you go, just like that. Okay. Now, we're going to work with the front of our card here, okay? This front, I want you to go ahead and attach this piece of designer series paper to, okay? And I'm going to be a little more generous this time. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run DSP all the way around all 4 sides. It is the front of the card, and I just want to make sure that all 4 of those sides hold nicely. Now, if you've been following my Class to Go card kits, and I know lots of you have because lots of you have picked this bundle up. I have used this so much, I cannot even believe it. But these stitched shaped framelits, the ones where you get the squares, the ovals, and the circle stitched dies, I have used this a ton over the holidays, and I know a lot of you have picked this up. This would be a 10% off item for this class, so if you don't already have it, it would be a great way to pick it up. We're going to be using the squares, and if you count from the inside out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to be using square number 3 and square number 4 for this project, okay? Now's where we're going to pull our card base back in, and I'm going to take the smaller of the square that I just pulled out, and that one is actually going to get placed right here on the front of my card, okay? I'm I'm going to take this over to my die cut machine and I'm going to run it through. When I do run it through, however, I'm only going to run it far enough to go past the edge so that I know all 4 sides have been cut, but then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to continue to run it all the way through so that the back or the rest of my base of my card goes through as well. It sometimes will just kind of crinkle your other cardstock, okay? Your other option to prevent that is to use a clear plate. You can use your clear plate here, stop it right here, okay, and not have it cover this section, okay? So that's another way that you can kind of save the back side of your cardstock, all right? So let me take this over and do that real quick. Okay, and this is what I've ended up with, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pop that out. I have my nice little window in the front of my card. And then I also will end up with not only the DSP square, but also some of the mint macaron that was back behind square, okay? And you're going to save those pieces. I'm actually going to take right now and just put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of the DSP. And then that is going to get layered up perfectly right over it, okay? It just gives that DSP a little bit of more stability as we go to use it here in the card, okay? All right, so the other pieces that you're going to need are this Balmy Blue. You're going to take the large, and it's just the right size. Yours might be just a little bit bigger in your kit, so you can have a little bit of a perimeter around that. The size 4 goes on, and then the size 3, and you actually can run these in together, okay, through the die cut machine together, just like this. When you go to run these through, also your glimmer cardstock will need to be run through with this snowflake die, okay? So you can run those through at the exact same time, okay? And your result is this here, okay? You will end up with a beautiful Balmy Blue snowflake, and you'll also end up with, because you use 2 different sizes, you'll have a nice little frame, okay? But you'll also have this little square, and this little square we really don't use in this project. So I encourage you to save it though and use it in another project, okay? All right, so let's pull in our card base again. This blue frame I'm going to take and just put a little bit all the way around of my multi-purpose glue here. And I don't want to squeeze it too much, I just want a little bit. This is one of those times you really don't want your glue to oop out over the edge. Remember, it's just paper too. It doesn't take a lot of glue, okay? I'm going to go ahead and pull this back in here. And this should line up perfectly because it was the exact same framelit, right, that cut those out. And it just gives that edge just a nice finish, doesn't it? Okay. All right. Now we're going to work with this piece here that we cut out. And I want to lay this inside, but I do not want any of the glue that I do. I only want glue on this side, okay, because that's going to get attached here, okay? I only want glue on this side. So again, like the first time, I'm going to take my thumb here, kind of use it as my guide a little bit of exactly where to place the glue, how far to place it, okay? Now with your card still closed, just like that, you use your square cutout as your guide to know exactly where to place that. And go ahead and just press firmly on that right side, because remember there's only glue on this side. And then the last thing is to attach our beautiful snowflake. And again, I think the best, you could use a glue dot in the center there. I'm going to use just a little bit of multi-purpose glue here. I got just a little too much there, so I'm going to take my finger and wipe that off because I don't want it to oop out over the side. And then I'm going to go ahead and just center that right there. Give it a little time. The glimmer paper is a little bit thicker, so sometimes it takes a little bit more time for it to dry. I think this is gorgeous. I think you could take this and use this on a card. That glimmer paper, you know, a little bit goes a long way, so don't waste it. And then I'm going to pull in one of my clear epoxy droplets, the large one here, and throw that right in the middle because the middle of our snowflake needs something there. And there we have our second card for the kit. Gently kind of work that out. Sometimes some of the paper fibers from the cutouts can stick along the edges of your square. You just take did you see how I did that with my finger? Just kind of take and get some of those out, okay? But there you go. Isn't that great? A nice little fun fold, and again, a nice little display card for somebody, okay? All right, so that is the second card. Now, on to a third card, which, like I said, oh, I've never done that. I'm sorry. I hope this video doesn't end up being too long. The next card is pretty easy. It's the Pacific Point card. When you receive your supplies, you will receive supplies that look like this. The base is just our standard 8.5 by 5.5, folded in half. I still always question myself when I say those out loud. Anyway, it's a standard card. And then you'll have two pieces of Whisper White. One will be a little bit longer, more narrow, and then another one will measure 4 by 5.25, which will be your inside piece. I've taken the Pacific Point ink, which is an add-on item to this class, and stamped that cluster of snowflakes again down in the corner, just to give it a little something something on the inside. And then that's just going to get placed right in here. Okay. Now, we're going to do similar to what we did the last card. We're going to take this larger die here, okay? This is the one that basically cuts out and gives us this beautiful cutout over the top of the front of this card, okay? So you're going to take this over, you're going to open your card like this, place this however you want. I like it like this, but I also think it would look fine just like that. And run this through your die cut machine, remembering to stop once you've gotten past this point, okay? Or line up your clear plate so that it's at the fold of your card. So this part of your card is not going through the die cut machine. It can kind of sometimes cause it to kind of warp, or it can just be a little hard on it, okay? So I went ahead for the sake of time and I did that. I ran that die through just like that, and you end up with this beautiful cutout. Isn't that pretty? Now, I did not have a white inside to this little sample guy, and I already used it up. So I'm going to grab another little white inside piece here because I really want you to see this. This is how it really shows, is with this contrasting Whisper White color inside. Go ahead and fold that, and there you go. Isn't that pretty how that shows? So pretty. Okay, now your other Whisper White piece that you have here, and then you have a piece of the glimmer as well. You have another piece of little strip. This is your sentiment strip of Pacific Point, and I went ahead and I white embossed the Snowflake Wishes. Again, those products would be included as an add-on item to this class. And let me show you what you're going to do with these pieces. So your Whisper White piece, you are going to get these two larger snowflake out of it. And that would be these dies here. This one and this one. Okay? And then that same snowflake we just used on the last card, the same die, this one here is the one that you'll get your Balmy Blue Glimmer snowflake out of. Okay? All right, so let's build our card. So I just took these two white ones. I'm just going to put nope, I don't want glue. The reason I don't want glue is that it will oop back behind and go through here, okay? So a glue dot would probably be my best option here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just put a glue dot right there. Go ahead and center that. And you'll find that these snowflakes they coordinate obviously. So if I go between, I can really stack and layer those beautifully. Okay. Now this one, the next one that I add, I definitely can use my multi-purpose glue just a little bit in the center. You obviously could use a glue dot. But these two snowflake cutouts I think work well together, and they work beautifully with this one that we cut out at the base of the card. Go ahead and just put a little bit again around our glimmer snowflake. And that one's going to get laid on top, just like that. Now you'll have a silver metallic strip in your kit, and this is also going to get laid over. I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue right in the center only, because I have built up a little bit of height with my layers of snowflake, okay? And I'm okay with that. I kind of want those to pop up just a little bit there. It gives it a little bit more dimension. If you felt the need to put some mini dimensionals underneath there, you certainly could behind that strip, okay? But I think that actually makes this card kind of cool the way those pop up. And then we're left with our sentiment, okay? And there's enough dimension on everything else that I just took glue right down the center of that, just so that it would stick right over that silver strip, okay? And just press and hold this for a little bit. There's lots of layers there. But this, I think, is a very simple, easy card. But I just think it is stunning. Isn't that beautiful, the way that cuts out, or the cutout is back behind? I just think that's gorgeous. So, I think my glue dot might be sticking back there a little bit, but we're going to be able to pull it apart here. Just a second here. There really isn't any other way to get that first little snowflake to stick. So I just take my fingers sometimes like that over the top of that glue dot, and what I'm doing is actually removing the sticky so it's not quite so sticky. Okay, there's a little tip, and it shouldn't stick too bad now, okay? But this would take a little time to dry, so this is one of those where you kind of just set it aside, maybe with your Stampin' seal on top of it, just so that it would have a little more chance to dry, okay? All right, so that is card number 3. Card number 4, your supplies would arrive like this, okay? This is this beautiful purple card, okay? So I have a gorgeous grape card base here. Go ahead and give myself a nice score. And then you have 2 Whisper white pieces. These measure 3 3/4 by 5, okay? One of them is intended for the inside. I went ahead and stamped some fun little gorgeous grape snowflakes on that one. My Stampin' Seal there on the top and bottom, and go ahead and put this on the inside. Okay, isn't that pretty? Oh, who would think? Then there's a larger piece of Designer Series paper in your kit. And again, I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal. Got to get it started here again. Like I said, it all has to do with how it ends. If it doesn't end happy, then it doesn't start happy, is what I've decided. Okay, I really like this purple, so I'm going to put my purple towards the top of this paper. And I'm actually going to put this at a little bit of a slant or stagger here, okay? Just like that. Now, my Whisper white piece is going to get run through the winter snow embossing folder, okay? And I've already done that for the sake of time. And the other thing I did was I went ahead and I sprayed it with some of our shimmer paint the champagne. Okay, just beautiful. Remember these? They were around years ago. They took them away and now they brought some back. So you take just a little bit, about a teaspoonful, and add it to rubbing alcohol in just a basic little spritz bottle. And shake it up really good. I have a little bead in there, so that helps it shake really well. And then just take it and spray it all over. I did all over this Whisper White piece. And like I said, there's no way the camera's picking this up, but it is absolutely gorgeous in person. And it's a beautiful little thing, accent to put on, I think, all your holiday cards. And I know some of you out there are completely gaga about spritzing up your cards. So you will also have a 2-inch circle cutout of Designer Series paper. I'm going to go ahead again, just use a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to place that right down here on the right hand side. But notice I'm leaving a little overhang there, which I'm going to take my paper snips and cut off. Okay, just like that. And then I also, oh, whoops, I made a boo-boo. We're going to peel that off real quick. We need to put this piece down first. Sorry. For those of you who have been to my past classes, you know, sometimes things happen. Okay, this goes down first. I'm sorry. I didn't have my sample right here in front of me to look at. That goes down first. Then your little circle goes down. Okay? Just layering these Designer Series papers on here, just so pretty, just like that. Okay, the next thing you need, we can go ahead and we can actually put some dimensionals on the back side of this. You're going to have a scrap piece of petal pink. Sorry, petal. I always want to call it pale pink. That's an old Stampin' Up color, but petal pink. And you're going to run that through your die cut machine with some of the snowflakes. Okay, so let me get this on here. And again, this is going to be put at a slant, but it's going to be at a different slant than your DSP. Okay, so that way it kind of staggers just a little bit there. Isn't that pretty? Now, the snowflake dies that you need are 3 of the smaller ones. It's this one, and this one. Those should all fit on your pink piece. And once you run those through your die cut machine, you will end up with those. Okay? So I'll leave that out there just a little bit if you want to freeze frame to know which ones you need. Okay, then again, glue dots are going to be your friend. These snowflakes just attach so nicely with a glue dot. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the larger one, and that one is going to actually get placed just kind of right there in part of our circle cutout that we had. The medium-sized one I just had kind of floating up here towards the top part of the card. And the smallest one I had down here in the corner. Okay. Now for our sentiment. You have a piece of silver metallic cardstock, and you have a piece of gorgeous grape strip. That's your sentiment strip. We're using the same sentiment we've used along the way here, Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. However, I do think that this one would also make a beautiful thank you card. So if you had a little long, narrow thank you sentiment, you could totally use that on this card. I'm going to go ahead and layer that right on there. And I thought this was beautiful just the way it was, but then I remembered we had this pool party sheer ribbon, and I wanted to use it somehow. And I just want to show you a fun way that you can add some ribbon to your card that's really not difficult, but really gives it a fun little look. So I'm grabbing the end here between my thumb and my index finger, and I'm going to take it and wrap it around the back side of my fingers and then wrap it back down in itself again. Okay? And what you end up with is you end up with a tail up here and you end up with a tail down here, okay? And you can kind of play with it so that actually your tails might be to the right up here and your tails to the left down on the bottom. It just adds a little bit more variation then, okay? I'm going to take the back of my snowflake sentiment, flip it over, lay my ribbon there in the center just like that. I'm going to pull in my good old-fashioned Scotch tape, which every stamp room should have. And I'm just going to place that on over that ribbon on both sides to make sure it holds it nicely, okay? Then I'm going to grab 2 regular dimensionals here. And this is going to get placed right down here. I don't want to cover up too much. And I want it to be straight. Obviously, you can put yours however you want. But I want it to actually be straight with the card. The other pieces are kind of at an angle. So I think it'd be nice if this was straight. Okay. Now, my ribbons just seems a little cockeyed. I kind of like it a little bit more that way. So I'm just gently going to take it and pull it so that it's coming between those 2 snowflakes there, okay? Obviously, if you need to trim any off, you can. I think those are beautiful like that. And then again, I'm going to pull in, I think I'll pull in the clear for this. Grab my pick a tool, and each one of these needs a center. Now this one's a little bit smaller down here, so I actually might use a smaller one down here, okay? So it doesn't consume the snowflake, all right? So there's that one there, okay? So there is the final card, the 4th card to this Class to Go kit, okay? So let me get them all out here again. Absolutely gorgeous, I think. And these beautiful envelopes with them. And then these that we did with the Designer Series paper. See if we can get them all on camera here. There you go. Okay, aren't they pretty? And just so wintry. Like I said, I just think these would make gorgeous thank you cards as well as holiday cards. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed these cards and consider picking up one of my class options. In the next few days, watch my Facebook page because I will be posting all those other cards, 8 of them, that I made with this bundle. These gorgeous snowflake images and dies just make it so easy to create absolutely stunning cards and projects. So, okay, it seems none of my videos are completely thorough without a PSA from this tired COVID ICU nurse. So please continue to wear your masks and social distance. Healthcare workers are exhausted, and this thing is nowhere near over. In some ways, we've just begun. And we really need everyone's help in being good citizens and doing your part to relieve our stressed healthcare system. So until next time, take care.